Have you ever paused for a moment and wondered why, despite all your efforts, all your plans, and all your intentions, your life hasn't moved forward the way you had hoped? Maybe it's been 3 years, maybe 5, or even longer, and when you stop to really reflect, you realize you are standing in the same place. The dreams are still dreams. The goals remain untouched. The change you thought would have happened by now simply hasn't. It's not because you're not trying. It's not because you lack intelligence, talent, or opportunity. Many people, just like you and me, work hard every day, think about the future, and wish for a better version of their lives. And yet, somehow they find themselves stuck in the same cycle, repeating the same struggles, and facing the same disappointments. Why does this happen? The truth is, progress in life rarely gets destroyed by some sudden disaster or the actions of someone else. It doesn't come crashing down because of one big, dramatic event. Instead, it slowly gets held back, little by little, by the small things, the habits we overlook, the patterns we allow, the choices we make without even realizing their long-term effect. Today, I want to gently shine a light on these quiet habits, the ones that seem harmless at first, but pull us backward in ways we barely notice. There are 8 of them. 8 simple habits that, if left unchecked, can hold you in place for years, no matter how hard you try to break free. This video is not about blame, not about finding excuses. It's about awareness, about understanding what these habits are, why they matter so much, and most importantly, how you can slowly change them to start moving forward again, without forcing yourself, without guilt, and without drama. Stay with me because as we go through these 8 quiet traps of daily life, you may see yourself in one or maybe in all of them. But don't worry. The power to change has always been in your hands. You just need to see the habits clearly first. Habit 1. Procrastination, the silent delay. Procrastination is one of the quietest habits that holds many people back without them even noticing. It doesn't shout or demand attention. It gently whispers, "Do it tomorrow. You have time, no rush." And because of this gentle voice, we believe it. Again and again. At first, it seems harmless. We leave an important task for the next day. After all, what's the hurry? But then tomorrow comes, and the task moves to the next day. And then the next. Slowly, these unfinished tasks pile up. Deadlines come closer. Stress rises. The mind feels heavier. The chance to do something great slips away, not because of bad luck or unfairness, but simply because of delay. Imagine this. You have an important deadline in 3 days. You think, I still have time. I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow comes and you say the same thing. By the time you finally sit down to work, you're tired, rushed, and stressed. The quality of your work suffers. You feel disappointed, and the cycle repeats. This is the real danger of procrastination. It steals energy, peace, and sometimes even opportunities. Not all at once, but slowly, like water wearing down a rock over time. But there is a simple way to break this habit. It's called the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. Don't wait. Don't think. Just do it now. For bigger tasks, break them into small pieces and start with the first tiny step. Maybe it's opening the laptop. Maybe it's writing the title. Just something small to break the tomorrow habit. Remember, small actions can create big changes. Procrastination doesn't control you. You can gently take back control, one simple choice at a time. Habit 2, no clear goals, the silent drift. Living without clear goals is like sailing without a destination. You move, but you don't know where you are going. Each day passes with activity, but little progress. At first, this may not feel like a problem. After all, life seems fine. You wake up, go to work, finish tasks, and wait for the weekend. But slowly, a quiet feeling appears, boredom, confusion, or emptiness. Without clear goals, it's easy to lose direction. You may work hard, but it feels like running on a treadmill, lots of effort, but staying in the same place. You might think, I'm busy every day, but why don't I feel satisfied? Why does everything feel the same? This is what happens when life becomes a routine without purpose. For example, many people work simply because they need a salary at the end of the month. They go to the office, finish tasks, and count the days until payday. But ask them, what do you want in 5 years? And they have no answer. Not because they are lazy or careless, but because they never stop to ask this question seriously. When you don't have clear goals, you become easily tired, easily discouraged, and ready to give up when life gets hard. Without a why, every how feels heavier. But there is a simple way to change this. Write down 3 clear goals, 1 short term, 1 medium term, and 1 long term. These goals can be small or big. The important thing is clarity. Then stick them on your wall, mirror, or desk where you can see them every day. Let them remind you of the direction you want to go. Remember, a clear destination makes every step meaningful. Life feels lighter when you know why you walk the path you choose. Habit 3. Chronic lateness, the cost of always being late. Being late may seem like a small habit, but over time, it can slowly damage trust and relationships in both personal and professional life. Many people do not see lateness as a serious issue, especially when it is just 5 or 10 minutes. However, this simple act sends a quiet message that other people's time may not be as important as our own. Even if this is not the intention, the result is the same doubt, frustration, and loss of respect. When we are often late, we may not notice the effect immediately, but others do. They start to expect delays. They stop trusting promises. Meetings begin late, plans get rushed, and projects lose energy. Bit by bit, lateness shapes the way others see us, perhaps as unprepared, disorganized, or careless. For example, imagine someone who always arrives 10 minutes late to every appointment. At first, friends or coworkers may smile and forgive. But after many times, they may silently feel annoyed or disappointed. One clear sign of this habit is the frequent use of the phrase, "Sorry, I'm late again." It becomes a pattern, not an exception, and each apology feels weaker, less believable. Over time, this damages personal confidence as well. You may begin to feel guilty or stressed before every meeting, knowing you are once again behind schedule. But this habit is not impossible to change. A simple but powerful solution is this: always plan to arrive 15 minutes earlier than the real time. Treat this as the true time of the meeting. This small adjustment gives space for surprises, traffic, last-minute problems, or delays. It also creates calmness. Arriving early lets you settle, breathe, and prepare with confidence. Being on time is not about impressing others, it is about self-respect. When you respect your own time, others will naturally respect it too. And slowly, the quiet trust you build will open more doors than you expect. Habit 4. Neglecting health, the silent cost we often ignore. Health is one of those things we often take for granted until it starts to fail. Many adults, especially those busy with work, family, and responsibilities, silently neglect their well-being without realizing the quiet damage it brings. The habit of skipping proper sleep, eating without care, or avoiding exercise seems small at the moment, but over months and years, it can slowly pull life backward in ways that are hard to fix. A typical example is staying up late, watching movies, or scrolling the phone until 2 a.m., knowing there is work waiting the next morning. At the time, it felt like a small gift to ourselves, just 1 more episode or just 10 more minutes. But the next day tells a different story. Tired eyes, low energy, slow thinking, and sometimes even frustration for no clear reason. This tiredness becomes a pattern, and soon we find ourselves saying, "Why do I always feel exhausted?" without connecting it to these small daily choices. Neglecting health is tricky because the results are not immediate. If we skip sleep or eat junk food today, we may not feel the full effect until weeks or months later when stress piles up, immunity drops, and sickness becomes more common. Productivity suffers, mood drops, and motivation fades, not because life is harder, but because the body is tired. But like any habit, this can change with small steps. The solution is not extreme diets or hard gym sessions, but simple daily care, sleeping at least 7 hours a night, drinking enough water around 2 liters a day, and moving the body regularly, even with just a short walk. These small efforts build quiet strength inside the body and mind, creating the energy needed to focus, think clearly, and enjoy life fully. Taking care of health is not selfish, it's the foundation for everything else we do. When the body is strong, the mind feels calm, and life's challenges feel lighter. Without health, even simple tasks feel like heavy burdens. That is why this quiet habit of neglect must be replaced with gentle, steady care starting today. Habit 5. People-pleasing, the habit of saying yes too often. One quiet but powerful habit that can hold adults back in life is the need to please others. Many people, especially those who care deeply about relationships, feel uncomfortable saying no. They fear disappointing others or being seen as unfriendly. This fear leads to a habit of always agreeing even when it harms their own time, energy, or goals. A common example is saying yes to extra tasks at work, even when the schedule is already full. Out of fear of making a colleague or boss unhappy, it feels easier to say, okay, than to explain why you cannot take more on. At first, this may seem helpful or polite, but over time, this habit can cause stress, burnout, and frustration. Days become packed with things that do not matter to you. Energy that should be spent on your own important goals is wasted on helping others complete their list. One sign of this habit is the quiet voice in your mind that says, I really don't want to do this, but the words that come out are, all right, no problem. This inner conflict slowly builds resentment and makes life feel heavy, because you are living by the wishes of others, not your own choices. Breaking this habit does not mean becoming rude or selfish. It simply means learning to protect your own time and energy, and understanding that a gentle no is sometimes the best choice for both yourself and the other person. A simple practice is to say, sorry, I can't take this on right now, before you start explaining. This pause gives space to think and keeps you from agreeing out of guilt or habit. In the end, people who truly respect you will also respect your boundaries. Pleasing everyone is impossible, but caring for your own needs makes you stronger, clearer, and even more helpful to others in the long run. Replacing people-pleasing with honest communication is a small but life-changing shift, and it starts with one simple word: no. Habit 6. Breaking promises to yourself, the silent way we lose self-trust. One habit that often goes unnoticed but deeply affects our lives is breaking promises we make to ourselves. These promises are not big ones made to others. They're small commitments like waking up early, exercising, or finishing a book. At the moment, skipping these feels harmless. After all, who's watching? But over time, this quiet habit chips away at something very important: our self-trust. Many of us know this feeling well. The night before, we confidently set the alarm for 5 a.m., thinking, tomorrow I'll start fresh. But when the alarm rings, we hit snooze once, twice, until it's 7 a.m. We whisper to ourselves, maybe tomorrow instead. It seems like a small thing, but every time this happens, a quiet message gets sent to the mind. I can't trust myself to do what I say. The result? Less confidence, more doubt, and slowly, the belief that we are not the kind of person who follows through. This habit creates a hidden loop of disappointment. When you no longer believe your own words, goals feel pointless and motivation fades. You may stop setting goals altogether because, deep down, you feel they won't be kept anyway. This is not because of weakness or laziness. It is simply the natural result of promises made and broken too many times. So, how do we change this pattern? The key is to set the smallest possible goal. Instead of planning a 30-minute workout, promise yourself only 5 minutes. Instead of vowing to write 10 pages, aim for 1. These tiny wins are powerful. Each time you keep even the smallest promise to yourself, your confidence grows, your mind learns, I do what I say, and your energy returns. Changing this habit is not about huge effort. It's about consistency. Like planting small seeds every day, keeping your own promises leads to trust, self-respect, and quiet strength. Over time, these little victories create a life that feels more stable, more satisfying, and more under your control. Habit 7. Fear of judgment, the quiet barrier to growth. One of the most common habits that quietly limits adults, especially women like myself, is the fear of being judged. This fear isn't loud or obvious. It often shows up in small moments: the hesitation before raising a hand in a meeting, the quiet voice in the mind saying, "What if they laugh?" or "What if I sound stupid?" It is the fear of making mistakes, of being laughed at, or of receiving criticism. This fear holds many of us back from expressing our true thoughts, even when we have great ideas or valuable opinions to share. This habit can have surprising consequences. When we are afraid of being judged, we start to stay silent in group discussions. We avoid sharing our viewpoints, and we don't try new things. Over time, this can make us feel invisible or stuck in the same place, while others take the chances we pass by. We may wonder why opportunities slip away, but the real reason is simple: fear makes us quiet. For example, how many times have we sat in a meeting with a good idea but stayed silent because we were unsure? I have felt this too. The moment passed, someone else spoke, and the chance was gone. Afterwards comes regret, the thought that maybe it could have made a difference if I had spoken up. What are the signs of this habit? You may often feel the urge to speak but choose to stay silent. You may worry too much about what others will think instead of focusing on the value of your own thoughts. This silent struggle happens to many of us, even if we look confident on the outside. How can we gently change this habit? The solution is simple but effective. Make a promise to speak at least one sentence in a group setting every day. It doesn't have to be clever or perfect. A simple comment, question, or agreement is enough to start building courage. Every small act of speaking out makes the fear shrink and confidence grow. Like exercising a muscle, this habit of speaking becomes easier with time. In the end, the fear of judgment is only as strong as we let it be. Each time we face it, even in the smallest way, we remind ourselves that our voice matters. We do not have to be the loudest or the smartest. We only have to be present, honest, and brave in small ways. And that is more than enough. Habit 8. Lack of saving habit. The silent money trap. As adults, one habit that silently drains our peace of mind is the lack of saving. Many people, including myself at times, fall into the pattern of spending every bit of salary each month without setting aside any savings. This may not seem serious in the beginning, especially when the excitement of online shopping or small daily pleasures fills the moment. But over time, this habit creates a deep sense of financial insecurity. The biggest consequence of not saving is the constant feeling of shortage. No matter how much money comes in, it feels like it disappears too quickly. There is no emergency fund for unexpected situations, whether it's a sudden medical expense or a broken appliance. And without savings, every new opportunity that requires money, like taking a course, investing in self-growth, or even a short trip, feels out of reach. A clear sign of this habit is the inability to answer the simple question: how much money do I have left this month? When someone is unsure about their bank balance or realizes that their paycheck has almost vanished without noticing, it's time to reflect: how can this habit be changed? The solution is surprisingly simple but requires discipline. Right when the salary arrives, set aside 10% into a savings account. Consider this amount untouchable, like paying a future version of yourself. Over time, this small habit can build a strong safety net, offering not only financial security but also peace of mind. In the end, saving is not about denying joy or living in fear. It's about giving ourselves freedom and options for the future. When savings grow, so does confidence. The habit of saving, even just a little, is one of the quietest yet most powerful ways to take care of oneself. Conclusion: a small change makes a big difference. We all have habits that we do every day without thinking. Some of them help us grow, but some may keep us stuck in the same place. These 8 habits may seem small, but if we let them repeat for months or years, our life may not change much. Maybe after 3 years, we will still wonder why things are the same. But the good news is this: we don't need to fix everything at once. Just changing one habit can make a big difference. When we improve even one small thing, like going to bed earlier, saving a little money, or saying no when we need to, our future starts to change step by step. And the more small steps we take, the easier it becomes to build the life we want. So let me ask you, Which habit do you think is hardest for you? Is it saying no, keeping promises to yourself, or something else? Comment and tell me. I can make a video to help you break that habit in a simple and easy way. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.